Welcome to Lake Cumberland Amateur Radio Association. You can find us at LCARA.net, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Instagram. Hello, I'm Chris, KY4CKP,
And I'm KY4BDP Brian.
and this is Lake Cumberland Amateur Radio Association coming to you with another video. We're going to introduce an antenna analyzer series.
Exactly, and I'm excited. And to be honest, I wasn't excited about this series. Chris and I wanted to do analyzers because you've seen many of the antennas that we've done, and without these tools, the antennas are just metal rods that you wouldn't necessarily make sure they were tuned correctly, Chris. And if they're not tuned correctly, you could harm your radio. So you have to have one of these really if you're going to be in ham radio.
Yeah, it's something you'll hear a lot, and it's not what we want to hear, that to get into this new hobby, you need to spend some extra money.
A little.
But you really do need to, and there are some options out there at various price points. We're going to cover quite a few of those because no matter how inexpensive your radio was, you can easily damage it, even with a commercially made off-the-shelf antenna. You just can't always trust them, and you want to check your own equipment. So for half the cost or a third the cost of your radio, even an inexpensive radio, you can have an analyzer, and it's a great tool to have in the toolbox.
Oh, absolutely. Just building the AV640, the series that we just did, this was out all the time. So once I had it built and up on the mast and so forth here at the compound, well, it's an 8-band antenna. So to get all 8 bands where you need them, you need an antenna analyzer because many of the elements have to be adjusted. And so if you don't want to harm the finals in your radio for transmitting, you need it. And like I said, I'm excited now. You know why? Not because of these three. These three are going to be the first three that we cover, right, Chris? But we've talked to our Elmer, and what did he say?
He has basically a museum worth of equipment that he's accumulated, and the other members of our club as well, I'm sure. And so we're going to be able to borrow additional equipment to cover a very broad range of not only historical equipment, but just different options that are either still available or could still work maybe from the used market, again at various price points and capabilities. And so we're going to try to cover that for you, show you some of those options that are out there.
Exactly. And Chris is going to go over each of these, or at least his over there on the far right. But some of these analyzers are no-brainers. Some of these analyzers are built in. Some of these analyzers, Chris, might require a little IT know-how.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of options on the market. So when we look at what we have on the table here, and this is a small subsection of what's overly available. This one here on the right, I've just recently got this one. This is from China. It's basically a clone, maybe a clone of a clone. This is known as the Mini 60S. This is a clone of a SARC 100 unit. It's smaller than the original SARC. It's about half the size of the SARC, and as you can see, it's probably a sixth the size of the MFJ there. All digital unit. It's very compact, not very big, but it's very dense. I've seen a teardown of one of these. There's a couple of boards. It does have a lithium-ion battery. It's rechargeable. You can also power it with a mini USB connector. Bluetooth or direct connection to your computer. Android is the portable phone or tablet agent that's out there. I'm not aware of iOS or macOS. All digital unit, but it seems to be a very nice unit. But getting a hold of the software for this and then learning that can be a little bit of a challenge. So probably not the best beginner option, although it's probably one of the cheapest. It's probably around $120. We'll be going more into this, of course, in this series.
And then my favorite, because I like kind of dials and meters and things. I like analog, to be quite honest. The MFJ 269CM. A version of this has been out for many, many years. MFJ had the 259 that I'm aware of before this one. I think my Elmer has the 259 version of this. This is the 269, and it'll even do marine bands, which I probably will never touch. But what I love about it is how tactile it is, Chris. It's knobs, and you can go from the UHF all the way up into the megahertz, higher megahertz ranges, which is really nice because it's very flexible. And I've used it on all 8 bands on the aforementioned antenna, but you can use this on 2 meters as well, and even 70 centimeters. And then you've got SWR type meters, just real simple ones, so to speak, although there's a tuner built into this radio as well. But the SWR piece of this is built into the radio, and it is an SDR radio. and it can do the tuning, but the SWR piece is built in, so you didn't even have to have an external device if you didn't want to. But this is not really portable.
Yeah, the nice thing about a dedicated unit is when you're working on an antenna, you're doing something, you're probably sort of outdoors or in the field. You're not necessarily POTA or SOTA or anything, but Brian was putting up his antenna in the backyard. You don't want to have to keep running back to the shack, click a few buttons, run back to your antenna.
Right.
You can take these out to the location with a shorter cable, battery operated, both of these, and do the work right there. I'm doing a project, I did a short preview in our last video for my mobile unit in my vehicle. I can go right out to the vehicle with a short cable and do some of my testing right there. So it's great that modern radios have the waterfalls built in, the SWR meters and things built in. They help and they do some of the things for us, but there's just times where a dedicated tool is really the best way to go.
Absolutely. And by the way, we need you to click subscribe, and we also need you to like and comment these videos. If this content is helpful to you, please let us know, especially on the comments and the likes. It really helps our club if you'll help elevate these videos for us. So please go ahead and do that.
Yeah, we're a small club, but we have a lot of experience on board. We're trying to capture as much of that as we can in these different video series we're doing. So we're going to go cover the analyzers for a while, but we're also going to be mixing in some SDR radios and some actual physical radios. But these will be ongoing series as well as we cover more and more equipment.
Indeed, and like I said, I'm excited now because it's not just these three in front of us. Our Elmer is really going to hook us up, Chris. I'm excited to look at some of the history and some of the evolution of some of these types of devices.
And he even has access, rumor has it, to a bird.
Oh, well,
A bird.
I don't know. Did we want to say that?
Oh, I don't know, but it's out there now. It's too
Yeah.
late,
Oh.
so it's in the wild.
Crikey. All right, well, I guess we better close then because we've already put something in there I don't even know if we were supposed to say.
Uh-oh. Well, yeah, we better cut it off now, folks. This is Chris, KY4CKP.
And I'm KY4BDP Brian.
And this is Lake Cumberland Amateur Radio Association.
73s.